Hello, it's Carol from Roundabout the Hoosier Homestead, and today for Whip It Up Wednesday I'm going to be putting together a turkey meatloaf. And this is a recipe that's been in my family for several generations, but this is the first time I've ever made it in a slow cooker, so it's going to be a little bit different. This Whip It Up Wednesday, of course, was started by Lisa from SuttonsDaze, Linda from Linda's Pantry, Heather from the Kneady Homesteader, Mandy from More to Life, and Tina from Wilhem's Kitchen, and if I forgot anybody, I am sorry. But anyway, first things first, going to take our 1 pound of ground turkey. I just got this at Aldi's. Not using the canned stuff because that's a little bit harder to make a meatloaf out of. And let's try to get all of this out as much as we can anyway. Okay, now in addition to turkey or the ground meat, whatever sort of ground substance you have for the meat item, we will need 2 eggs. Now, I do not eat eggs because when I was 3 years old, my older brother threw up in front of me while we were eating scrambled eggs. So I don't keep eggs on hand, which means when I make a dish like this, I usually use egg replacement powder. So this is 2 eggs worth of egg replacement powder and water. If you have eggs, use eggs. That's probably a better option, but this is kind of a binding agent. So we'll put the eggs on top there, or the egg replacement powder, whatever you have on hand. Now, this recipe also calls for 2 slices of bread, which are then ground up. So, how's everybody doing? I feel like I should make conversation. So, you don't have to get the bread too tiny. Just kind of big chunks of it will be fine. And yes, I did buy a meat thermometer this weekend, so yay, I can actually make this recipe. Okay, now as far as the sauce goes, this is really important. 1 can of tomato sauce. Now, I used home canned tomato sauce. And 1 cup of sugar. You absolutely must add the sugar. Even if you are type 1 diabetic like I am, the sugar makes this meatloaf. By the way, eat a smaller amount if you're worried about your blood sugar spiking until you know how it's going to affect you. But yes, the sugar is absolutely necessary. Just go with me on it. So I will not make this meatloaf unless I have sugar. And do not use a sugar substitute. It must be actual sugar. Okay, now you want to put about 1/3 to 1/2 of your tomato sauce / sugar in the container containing the meatloaf. And then, and this is the fun part, mix it all up. So you're going to mix it all up by hand. Yes, this is gross. And I'm sorry, but it has to be done this way. Okay, so once we have everything combined, kind of more or less make it a loafy look. I'm sorry, I can't show you the inside of the pot because I have tomato or raw meat on my hands along with tomato sauce, which I'm going to wash off, but I'll show you what this looks like once it's all done and ready. Now, as far as the rest of the tomato sauce, we're going to be pouring it on top. However, I am going to be adding potatoes to this. I don't normally cook potatoes at the same time. I usually do like a side of mashed potatoes, but I kind of want potatoes cooking with my meatloaf. So I have a couple cans of potatoes here. I suppose I could get away with just 1, but why not do 2? Because I have more tomatoes, or potatoes rather, that I can can. So, just going to kind of outline the side of the loaf with our potatoes. Put those all on there, and then take the rest of our sugar and tomato sauce recipe and just pour it over the top of all of that. So this way the potatoes will be cooking in the tomato sauce recipe, the meatloaf will be cooking in the tomato sauce recipe. And let me go ahead and show you what this looks like now. If I can actually get a good view of that. So, not very pretty, but it is incredibly good. So, I am going to go ahead and cook this on high for an hour, and then I will cook it on low for about 2 to 3 hours and then switch it down to keep warm. But I will periodically be testing it with the meat thermometer to make sure that it's hot enough. And I'm going to try to splice videos together. I swear I'm going to get good at that one day. But on the off chance that I can't, I will go ahead and take a picture of it when it's all done and use that as like the little photo that's the opening for the meatloaf. So you can actually see what it looks like when it's done. Let's see if we can get one more shot of this meatloaf here. So there we go. I'm sorry if that's not very good. Anyway, I've got it on high, and I will cover this up. And I hope everybody has a great day, a great week, great holiday. I'm not going to be able to make any videos next week because I'll be in Tulsa. If you like what I'm doing, go ahead, hit like and subscribe.